Today, we're going to be learning to draw a fish, but more importantly, we're going to be learning about how to create a high quality coloring using colored pencils. So here is my paper. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw our fish. It's going to look something kind of like that. So I'm going to start off by drawing right almost in the middle of my paper the number 3 that's backwards. So it's kind of like a backwards 3. It's just 2 little bumps. These are going to be the mouth of the fish, and then it's going to come up, and then it's going to come down. So it's kind of like a rainbow shape. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom, except for opposite. It's going to kind of make a rainbow shape upside down, like a big smiley face. So right now it looks like this. Then I'm going to come off. I'm going to make the tail. It's going to come up above where the top of the fish was, and then it's going to make a wavy line coming down. It's going to go all the way below where the fish was, and then it's going to come up in there. So this is the tail of the fish. It's going to kind of look like maybe an angelfish that you would see, but I'm using my imagination, so I'm just kind of drawing whatever I'm thinking of. Now I need to have fins on this fish. Of course, he's going to have one big fin here in the middle of his body, so I'm going to come up, it's going to wave down, and then it's going to come back like this. Then I'm going to close that off. Now I want to draw his eye, so I'm just going to draw a circle with a circle inside of it. He needs to have fins on top of his head here, so I'm going to have just this wavy shape again, and then down. I'm going to have one on the bottom of his body where it comes down like this, and then it's going to come up like a triangle, and then I'm going to have another kind of triangle shape coming off here, and then like this. Down at the bottom of my paper, I'm going to draw just a little bit of coral and some rocks, some things like that. So this is just going to be a rock and just kind of some bumpy lines, and it comes down like this in the corner of my paper. Maybe I could draw a coral and it'll just kind of come up and then down, kind of skinny, and then back up, and then down like that. Now let me draw just another little mound here. This could be anything. It could be rain coral, or just, it could be anything, any kind of rock, anything like that. Do one more here just to finish it off. To make it look like the fish is alive, I'm going to add some bubbles. Okay, now let's get into the coloring part, because every good artist knows that it takes more than just drawing a nice picture. There's no point in me drawing a really nice picture like this if I'm just going to scribble all over it. Now, there's different types of coloring, and you can see here in level 1 here, I've just scribbled. And a lot of times we don't even stay inside the lines, but you should always stay inside your own drawing's artwork unless you mean to get outside the lines. And so we've got to practice of coloring smaller. Also, I've only colored in one direction here. That's not very good in art. I want to color in either more than one direction, or while I'm coloring, color in a circle. So here in level 2, I've colored up and down, but then I've also colored from side to side. Okay, here in level 3, you don't really see those strokes. You can see where I've pressed down hard. In level 3, I've kind of colored softly, but I've colored in all different directions. I've colored in many different directions. And this, level 3 or level 4, is where I want you to be. In level 5 and 6, we don't always want to use those. Sometimes level 6, we don't want that, because what I've done here is I've burnished it. I've colored in really, really, really hard. But I don't want that look every time. So for today, I want you to try to get into level 4 here. So let's talk about this. One of the things I want you to focus on is, while you're coloring, color in everything that you want to be that color before putting that color away. So let me think about what color I want my fish to be. I don't want him to be blue because I know the water is going to be blue. I can make him a green fish, and that'd be kind of cool. I'm using my imagination, so you can choose any color you want. It doesn't have to be green. And we're going to color this fish. Now, when I color, remember, I don't want to color in just one direction like this. And I definitely want to stay inside the lines. I don't want to get outside the lines like this. Okay? And so when I'm coloring, I've only gone in one direction, and also I'm pressing down too hard. You want to press down softly and then work your way up. And I'm coloring too big. My strokes are so big that it's really hard for me to stay inside the lines. So let's look at how I should color this. On my fish here, I can also add designs, and so I'm gonna go ahead and do this before I start coloring. You can add different designs than I do, but I'm gonna add some details here on my fish. I'm just going to add these little stripes going up and down my fish like this. If you want to choose something different, you can. So first thing, I'm going to color small. So let me zoom in here and see if you can see my fish. I need to color small. So I'm going to color not big and not in one direction. And I'm holding my pencil very lightly, and I'm coloring in circles here. And so you can see my pencil spin around in circles. I'm going very slowly, and I'm going very carefully. Now it's important that I don't get distracted and stop here and put my color away, because if I put my color away, I might come back try to find that color again. I'm going to come back and, oh no, it's not the same color. And that doesn't look good at all. I want to make sure to have the same color, because that's not the same color. So be sure to color everything that you want green before you put your green away. So let me get the right green again. I'm coloring very small. It takes a lot of patience. A lot of patience. Got to take your time. Make sure that you're not rushing it. I'm staying inside the lines. I'm not getting inside of my stripes that I've drawn here, my details, my designs. I'm not getting inside the eye there, because I know I want to do a different color there. I'm not coloring in just one direction. If I was coloring in just one direction, you would see those strokes. But I'm coloring in little bitty circles, and I'm turning my wrist, and I'm finding different directions, and I'm coloring in all the white space. If I was just coloring in like this, I don't want to leave it to where all this white space is. You can see here on this other one, there's white space everywhere. I don't want to leave that white space there. You've got to go back and color in all of those pieces that are white spaces. And you might as well do it the first time. Do it right the first time instead of having to go back. Also, don't want to get a whole bunch of different colors into this coloring. I want to stick with just green for all of his body. I don't want to color half of his body this color and then switch over to a red or something like that. I want it to all be the same color. It takes patience and effort to make an artwork look nice, and coloring does take a lot of time, but there's no hurry because we have the whole class period.
There's nothing else that we're going to do today, so just take your time and color it.
If you come to me and tell me that you're finished, I'm probably just going to look at you and tell you, go back and keep coloring. There's no reason we should not take this whole class period. Take this opportunity and this time to finish the piece right.
Now I think I'm going to make the stripes here red.
Okay, now I've colored my fish and my coral and my rocks, and it's looking good. I've taken my time. I've spent a lot of time, and my hands kind of hurt because it's a lot of work, but it takes a lot of work to become a good artist. And the last thing I need to do here is I need to draw water. So I'm going to draw the outside of this. This is a little bit different than coloring everything else because I'm going to very, very lightly just hold the pencil in my hand, and I'm holding it very far away, and I'm going to make big strokes. I know the whole time I've talked about making small circular strokes and that are light to build up the color, but this time I'm going to draw very lightly, and I am going to leave a little bit of white space in between my coloring, and I'm just barely touching the paper just to tint it. And I'm drawing very large, and I'm drawing very, very lightly. The blue is barely even touching the paper. I've also chose a very light blue. And I'm trying to still stay off my fish, but as light as I'm drawing, it's not really going to overpower the color that I've already colored onto my fish. So it's okay if you get onto it a little bit. And I'm just coloring very, very, very lightly. There we go. It just added a small tint to where the blue water would be. It's hardly any color. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw just a little bit of a wave here, just as if the water was flowing. And I'm just going to color it in a little bit more than everything else. And I'll do that in a few spots. Just adds a little bit of a nice look to it. So I didn't do that everywhere, just in a few spots. You can see how I added that in. Okay, I hope that you take your time, work at it, try to make your art piece look amazing. And I hope you have fun doing this, and I hope you're proud of yourself when you're done. Don't create something that you're not going to be proud of. Take your time to make it look nice. All right, guys, give it your best.